Welcome back to the Marching Arts Podcast. I am here. It's the first time we've all been together because I've had so many weird things, for a while. Sorry about that, everybody, but I just had a lot of personal things happening. But I'm here, but I'm sick. But that's okay. We're going to push through because it is the last weekend before finals. So we got a lot to talk about.
And sad.
Yay and sad at the same time. But you guys know who I am. I'm Stress Master.
And I'm Kanan, Jen. Also known as the Wish. I'm Kanan, also known as the Wish.com version of the Stress Master. Mm-hmm. Even though I've misspelled it because I'm the Wish.com version of.
Yeah.
Right.
You're the French version, Stress Master. Yay.
Yeah. Also known as Tumor.
Yep. I'm Jen, but for this week I will throw back and be Jay. That was my drum corps name, and because there were too many Jennifers, because I'm was born in the 70s. So. That was
oh my gosh. Yeah.
JJ.
There was like six. Yeah, there was like 6 of us in the color guard, so we all had to have distinct names.
have you garnered any more fans this week?
Nope. I'm sad. Nope. I need more fans.
So you still only get the one guy going.
Yes. He's like what do you call it? The guy from that 70s show, Fez.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it. Don't leave me.
Wow. Well, we got a lot. We don't have a whole lot, but we're gonna talk about some throwback pictures. Because it is DCI week and everybody puts up their pictures. So I'm gonna pull that up, and then we're gonna talk about rankings because a lot of shows got kind of canceled or rained out. So it's really hard to kind of get a real gauge on where everybody's at. We do have some more shows this upcoming week on the 5th, I think. There's a couple more, 3 more shows actually, 3 shows where all the big corps are going to be competing, and then open classes starting competition Monday, which is tomorrow. So a lot going on. All right, so the first pick is Jay.
Obviously, it's me.
It's not me.
Baby Jay. Yes, this was my second year at Phantom Regiment, 1994, Songs for a Summer Night. This was during Claire de Lune. Which is kind of funny that I have this picture because I actually have no working memory of what I did during that song at all. It's so bizarre that I can't remember a single thing I did during the ballad. Except for the very end. So, yeah, that was... And I want to shout out that it's on film. This was the old Joelish proof that they would give us after regionals and big shows.
Yeah.
And how excited we all were if we had pictures,
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So that's me in the coolest costumes Phantom Regiment ever put out.
You youngsters today have no idea how good you've got it. I marched I think I marched for 6 years in DCI, and I think I got 3 of these Joe Leash pictures ever.
Yeah, Horn Lion was ruthless. At least with the color guard, I had quite a few. Yeah,
I was a damn soloist. There should have been at least one picture. There isn't a single picture of me, official picture of me as a soloist anywhere. It's ridiculous.
Tragic.
Yeah, I think I have one.
Yeah,
I have one.
Yeah. So that's.
I think I've seen one other picture of you knocking about your horns up to I don't know what press box you're going for.
It's horns to God, dude. Horns to God.
Yeah,
you were playing
exactly.
God or something.
Exactly.
I'll see if I can find that one. Yeah, and Steve makes fun of me all the time. He's like, "Where's your horn, dude?" Yeah, I go check the angle with everybody else.
It's a stadium lights. Is that a press box? It
could have been. Yeah, I don't know if it was finals or what, but the press box was high.
I think our official aim point was always bottom of the bell to the top of the windows.
Right.
Yeah. Which can be pretty dang high in some stadiums. But I don't know where that one was taken. I don't remember.
And where it really messes you up is when you look up at the press box, and there's some of the bigger stadiums press box are 4 stories tall.
Oh, I know, right?
Windows.
Which windows are we looking at?
Exactly. Let me see if I can pull mine up.
All right.
Oh yeah. Well, now let's get out of here.
Hold on a sec. Go back. Let's talk about that man right there real quick. Go back. Go back.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Look at that.
Okay. Wow.
Let's talk about this picture.
Let's talk about this picture.
First off, we'll get to the hair in a second, Justin.
What year was this? First of all, what year was this?
Has to be 89.
Okay.
I'm noticing no buckle.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So for those who don't know, the freelancers tradition was you didn't get your buckle until after your first show.
Oh,
so
this was your rookie year.
You had to earn your buckle. So Justin had not yet earned his buckle.
Oh, I love it.
And it was special to what you may or may not know, Jen, is that in the Horn line, at least, we actually had a buckle ceremony. When the rookies were presented their buckles, and it was a really big deal. Now, let's talk about your hair.
Hey, man.
It's awesome. It reminds me of The Wedding Singer. Do you like Flock of Seagulls?
I want to see. I will be. When you do the editing on this, Justin, if I don't see some imagery of the flock of seagulls happening over the top of this, I'm going to be so angry. I will edit every video from here on out just to make damn sure of it.
Love it. Oh my gosh. This uniform, I'm completely biased, but as far as uniforms in the 80s and 90s went, this uniform was awesome. So recognizable. Everybody knew who we were. I love the folded triangle. I don't know what it's called.
Flap.
But I love this uniform.
So for those who don't know, this is the Sacramento Freelancers, 10-time DCI World Championship finalist. The Corps finally folded after the 1994 season, I believe it was.
4, yeah.
So there is a lot of talking points of the uniform. So obviously the buckle I'm talking about is a chrome buckle that goes on the black cross belt over the flap. We did have certain traditions that we did as well. So like, for instance, if we ever felt that we were wronged or disrespected, one of the things that we would do is we would close the flap.
Yeah, that worked well in 1990, by the way.
Yeah, it worked great in 1990.
That worked
we
fabulous
the flap at Allentown. Yeah, we came into Allentown ranked 9th and came out of DCI in Buffalo ranked 15th. That was great.
Oh my gosh. What?
Well, it doesn't help that we, dug the freaking battle axe into the ground there and played off when we were told not to play. Yeah, that was fabulous.
Typical freelancers behavior.
It was awesome. We literally temper tantrumed our way out of finals. But yeah, so that was one of the things that we used to do. And then, so this particular uniform came out after the 1980 season, I think it was. 1979, they did the Wiz show. Do you remember I don't know if you remember, they actually wore jumpsuits in 1979.
I don't remember that. Oh my gosh.
Or was it
80? They were gray for a while. They were gray for a while.
Or no, 70s, it was 81. Yeah, the previous version of this uniform was gray with black and red and white accents to it. And then you also had in 85, I don't know if maybe Justin, through the magic of editing, can put a picture of 85 up here somewhere.
Yeah.
The Corps experimented with a costume, I suppose, for the first time ever.
That was my brother's last year.
Traditional uniform.
Yeah.
So that particular uniform, if I'm assuming that there's a picture of it on the screen here, it was like a turtleneck with like a vest overlay over the top with different color flaps and stuff like that. So
they had the Velcro flaps that they could peel different directions. They also had pants that did the same thing. So the color guard, their pants had flaps on the thighs, and they could wrap them around to the back. They could bring them around to the front. And they changed from black to white throughout the show because of the way they moved the flaps. The Corps proper had the same pants, and the judges just hated them. And so halfway through the season, they went back to the black with the red stripe, but kept the top.
The funny thing is, any video that you see of the 1985 freelancers, I've never seen a single still image or video where everybody's uniform was correct. There was always somebody with an odd colored triangle somewhere.
Maybe finals. Maybe they got it on finals. And that was a loud court. But no, I'll have to go back and watch. No. I will say, though, that Bells, their closer, was still one of their coolest closers.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely love the 1985 show. The 1985 show was, for me, that was the show that made me say, no, I'm joining the Freelancers. You know,
Yeah, it was a cool show.
Because prior to that, I was actually originally my drum corps origin story, if you will, was I was in a really tiny high school marching band, but as it turned out, our band director marched Vanguard, and originally I was going to go to Valley Fever. And then we ended up at Freelancers, and the rest is history. But yeah, so this is the 1991 Freelancers baritone line. You'll notice that we've changed to white trousers, and I actually preferred the white pants, if I'm honest with you.
Yes.
Always preferred the white pants. Now, the funny thing is, in 1991, we didn't quite know what uniform combination that we wanted to go with, so we were kind of the University of Oregon Ducks football team of DCI that year, because we brought black trousers with us, we brought black shoes with us, we brought black gauntlets, black gloves, we brought black plumes, as you recall. We had white plumes, we had white gloves, we had all sorts of different combinations.
Oh my gosh.
And we wore a whole bunch of the different combinations until this is the look that we'd finally settled on.
Really?
So,
I didn't know.
Yeah. It was,
I wish we would have gone with the black cummerbund though. I don't like the silver cummerbund. It makes us look weird against the white.
It's
never
super
got that.
90s. That's like the epitome of the 90s. Silver lame somewhere.
But it would have been a nice distinction, you know what I mean? Or maybe like other people actually have bibber pants, and then the cadets wouldn't constantly pop out. Our cadets sucked in terms of construction because like you were constantly fiddling with, I got to attach, like take these big old safety pins and attach my cummerbund to my pants and to my cadet so it doesn't pop out in the middle of the show. It was not very well designed.
So I'm going to give a special shout out to Jen Taylor Formel. I don't know if you remember Jen. So Jen in 91 had aged out in 90, went on to the uniform crew, if you will, for 91. And I remember she was the most organized person in the world because she had a little notebook that she carried with her that literally told her every single member of the horn line and exactly how many safety pins they required and where. She was a machine when it came to safety pinning uniforms.
Oh wow!
But yeah, I think mine was about 26 safety pins. It was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
Honest to God, and the other thing about the uniform tops as well, for these youngsters, they were wool. They weren't a wool blend. They were straight up wool.
Right.
So,
nothing was better. Oh, go ahead.
Go on.
Oh no.
I would say nothing is better than when you get one of those good middle of the summer sunburns, because that's what we used to. We used to get sunburns back in the day. I know kids today, they don't. They just, they're all lathered up and health and safety and all that stuff. But when you get one of those big sunburns, and Justin, you'll probably remember this. 91, I had a sunburn on my shoulder, and I had a blister that came up to about here that popped at every single show. And I used to remember having to peel my uniform off my shoulder.
Stop. Edit this out. A little bit of trivia about the 92.
Good times.
A little bit of trivia about the 92 guard uniform, those white satin things with the red, the toilet paper uniforms. I'd like to have words with. Oh my god, I'd like to have words with whoever designed those. We couldn't wash them, or we didn't wash them for the longest time. They stunk so bad. We had full body suits under them too, and we finally washed them towards the end of the season. And they came, or we dry cleaned them or something. We couldn't wash them, so we dry cleaned them, and they all came back slightly pink because the sequins had run onto the uniforms, and so our uniforms were slightly pink.
Okay, so that's you soloing.
That is literally the only visual proof anywhere on God's green earth that I had a solo in 1992.
You had a solo? Oh.
And this must be DCI, Colorado, because that looks like a baseball stadium.
Yeah, I think it's Mile High.
Ugh, I hated
Mile High,
that.
did they have a baseball stadium on Mile High?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Back then they did. The Rockies played at Mile High.
Right. I just don't remember that. I did Mile High at least 3 times.
Yeah, because in 91, one of my sets at the end of the opener was on top of the pitcher's mound, and it downpoured right then, like just downpoured on us, and we were drenched. I mean, our plumes were like, chickened out, Oh my God, that was a good time.
So this is from 1992, and the other good time about the playing on a baseball diamond is if you had any drill moves with any sort of velocity to them, where you either had to halt or do a direction change. Good times.
That happened to me in 93, and of course in Phantom Regiment I was in head to toe black, and so I wiped out in the dirt and basically probably a baseline, and I came off the show and my whole leg was just dust. And it sure did stick out.
It's crazy. Yeah, who would think, hey, this is okay to do a drum corps show on baseball field?
I know.
Come on.
We were pretty hard. We were pretty hard back then, though. Let's be honest.
Look at that high toe on that contra player back there. Good for him.
Yeah, I don't even know who that was. Look at that. Look at
that hurts my shins just looking at it.
I'm trying to figure out who that is there. Is that a baritone or a youth? That's a youth, isn't it?
That's a youth.
To have a conversation about that horn angle.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, this might have been one of the times. This could have been one of the times I played my solo in tune, because it wasn't in tune at finals. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then this is me aging out of drum corps. Actually, this was the last time that I was ever on a drum corps field, and that is with the 2019 Kids Grove Scouts. So yeah, I like the uniform as well.
I like those uniforms.
So Jen Big Hair in 3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh. So I clipped this out of a video. I get no TV time in all of my years. And this is like me flinging my hair, because we did hairography in my last year of regiment. This is my favorite little thing.
The one bit of TV time that I ever had, I ticked.
Right.
Dude, I got it. Go ahead.
89, end of the close. Do you remember we put that stupid horn manual?
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yep, I ticked.
Yeah, yep. I remember that. Well, it's okay. The right half, the side two, ticked on the son of a bitch chord. Son of a bitch.
But do you remember what caused it? Do you remember Larry did a weird double pump?
Yes, he did. He went like this. He went like that, and then like that.
Yeah.
So we're like, I mean, our eyes are literally like this, trying to watch, because we're like on the farthest end. We're like all like straining to see him. So, all right, let's watch this.
This is me in that middle section, right in the back there, flinging my hair around. Yeah. That's all I get. Flick. I know I have a better one too. Like, it's not as obvious, so we can cut this out, and maybe I'll clip the other one.
Oh no, we're gonna keep that in there.
That. Hold on a second. Hold on, Justin. You may or may not want to edit this, but that is that really infamous Phantom Regiment Guard uniform. That one, isn't it?
Oh yes, it is the infamous Guard uniform. Oh my gosh! Like, ooh, the pictures I have are not suitable for work. That's like you can see every curve.
Okay, we're gonna leave that.
Yeah.
So what we have here is the scores. They're not indicative of what everybody really is, because we had a rain out last night. I think we had a rain out a few days back too, right?
Yeah, the New Jersey show rained out too.
Yeah, Huntington actually went through.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did it? Right.
West Virginia.
Huntington happened. New Jersey rained out. Did Lawrence? No, Lawrence, Mass happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. New Jersey had some weird thing with, like, I believe, with some sort of a weird, stupid noise ordinance as well, or something like that. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they couldn't delay. They just had to cancel. Yeah.
We got to plan. We got to plan better than that. Sorry.
But
yeah, you look at these scores. I mean, like, Phantom hasn't performed since the 31st of July. I'm going to be incredibly shocked if the next time you guys perform, you don't slot right back into 4th place, because I think that's you can see the spread right there. Mm-hmm. Again, Mandarins haven't had a competition since 31st of July as well. So I would expect them to slot into probably looking at that spread there. I don't know. Santa Clara's given them their money's worth.
They've been, it's real tight there.
They have kind of stalled out a little bit, you know. And one of the things that we'd said prior to us going to recording today, and it was something that I said when talking about the Mandarins, I likened this year's Mandarins show to the 2019 Santa Clara Vanguard in so much as they had an absolutely epic show last year. It was kind of a once in a decade show, or if not once in a generation show. And it's hard to capture that 2 years on the bounce. That's not to say that the Mandarins are a bad drum corps by any stretch of the imagination. They're great. I absolutely love their show. But trying to capture that lightning twice is pretty difficult.
Yeah, I mean, that show in last year, just the spinning cages alone, you know, were just enough to etch that into the iconography of DCI, you know.
I won't go off on a tangent here. Justin, but you guys know that I'm recording a brass band episode at the moment. And part of in the middle of recording that, I'm editing it now, but in the middle of recording that, I went back and looked at the Black Dyke Band playing Metropolis 1927 and Vanguard playing the same piece of music. And I didn't realize I heard people comparing Mind to Babylon. And I didn't realize, wow, how apt those comparisons are. And I don't think Babylon is a bad show to be compared to by any stretch of the imagination. But I can definitely see that same design influence. So,
yeah, I think Phantom's show this year is kind of like really engaging, like mentally. You have to like really pay attention to what's going on. And I went to sleep. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's, you know, something you should be doing. Same thing with Blue Coat show. Very much you have to really you're kind of like entranced in like what's happening, because the development pacing that they use is so consistent. You know what I mean? Like you have, like you start with this big gigantic red block of props on the field, and then they separate, and then they separate again, then they separate again, then they move again. So you see these constant changes, everything, right? So they're keeping their theme, but it keeps your mind engaged because the field is constantly evolving and the show's constantly evolving. Same thing with Phantom's show. You start with the blocks in the middle, right? The cubes, and then they separate out, and then they separate out, and then they separate out, and then they move, and then they do different things. And it's basically, which I get is your mind, you're in a cage, right? Your mind's in a cage. And so it totally, I think those two shows right now are the only two shows that I really think, for me, make a lot of sense in terms of design.
Right. Yeah.
Should we talk about the Colts?
Let's talk about the Colts. Let's go on down here. They're currently ranked in 8th place, but once again, a lot of people haven't competed. We don't know.
Yeah.
Blue Stars hasn't competed in a while.
I don't see Colts dropping out of 8th place at all.
Blue Stars are going to give them a run for the money, because that score is close. Of course, different panels, different nights. I get it, but that's a 4-day-old score, you know. So we'll see. I
think Colts are going to give Mandarins a run for their money.
I don't see that. I don't see that gap.
Yeah, I don't either. I think there's definitely a level break between the that grouping of the Blue Stars Cavaliers and Mandarins. Mandarins is just a little bit above that level. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's show design. Maybe it's presentation. I don't know. But I mean, we're all going to find out.
We're going to find out in Ohio.
There's somebody else on that island we're forgetting to talk about here, though. That's Troopers.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, just an FYI before we move on to Troopers, in Canton, Ohio, which is tomorrow night's show, the last show of the season, we'll get a 3-way, a little head-to-head between Blue Stars, Colts, and Mandarins. So we'll see that. We'll see how they place those scores.
Now this is interesting. Look at Blue Knights. They're back in top 12. Over the Madison Scouts.
Intriguing.
Completely different panel, though, wasn't it? Weren't they in Rochester?
Yeah.
Oh, did they do the Rochester show? Okay.
Yeah, so completely different panel. So again, you got to take that into consideration. My biggest beef with Madison Scouts is, and I think this is ultimately going to be their downfall. Well, there's two things. Number one, elephant in the room, percussion scores. If they don't make finals, it's because of percussion. If the other reason, if they don't make finals, it's the length of that show. It's 9 minutes and 44 seconds long.
It's within the parameters, though.
It's within the parameters, but the judges...
You judge the content that they present.
Yes, but if somebody else is presenting similar content and there's 2 more minutes of it and it's just as good...
I don't know. That's a good question because I don't think we've had a year in which they took the minimum out. Isn't this the first year? Like this is a new judge. This is a new rule from Januals of last year, correct? Of 2024.
Right.
And I could be wrong on that. Someone tell me in the comments. But it's hard for me to be like, oh, they're gonna. I don't know. I mean, if you came out with a 5-minute show, I guess you could say that, you know. But we're talking about.
I'd argue 9 minutes is pushing it, though.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
so is 13.
Who would push for that to be a thing if they thought we're going to get penalized for it? I mean, who would push for that rule to go through if the thought was if we do a 9-minute show, then the judges are going to knock us out of 12th place? Who would do that to themselves? And I guess this is the year to decide that, you know.
My other argument though around getting rid of minimum show times is the ticket costs to go to a DCI show have gone up, and up.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that in this case we've only got one corps that's got a particularly short show this year. That of course being Madison Scouts. You know, but are you happy to keep paying the same amount of money to sit your butts in those seats if everybody's doing 9-minute shows? I'm not.
I don't know.
I mean, but then you have what Blue Coats is what 13 minutes.
Yeah,
is
insanely long.
I think it's insanely
long, man. I think the magic number for a show is in between 10 and a half and 12 minutes. That's it. That's kind of the magic number. Because it's enough, you get enough of each movement. Madison's show is a little bit shorter, but it doesn't feel short.
It doesn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really doesn't feel short to me. It doesn't. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything because they actually have a good show flow, and when you get to the closer, it's satisfying. You know, so I'm like, it's a satifying closer.
I'm not bagging on Madison Scouts.
No, we know.
I absolutely love their show. I'm just saying is that if I'm a judge and I'm judging 2 corps that are dead on similar to each other, one's got a 9-minute show and one's got a 12-minute show, I'm probably giving the benefit of the doubt to that 12-minute show because I've got more to judge. So
I'm looking at the panel of the Rochester show, and look at Music City. They went up 2.3. Blue Knights went up 2.1. Academy went up almost a point. Genesis went up 2 points. So this to me screams more of that's the panel for the Knights versus, you know. So we'll see what happens at quarters. You know, prelims. Sorry.
Genesis has a nice little show as well. I watched them at the first night of Allentown, and I really quite enjoyed their show.
Yeah.
Music City, they actually have for the last 3, I'm sure before, but I really took notice of them after the pandemic. They've had some really great show designs. Really great show designs.
I think they're an up-and-coming drum corps program.
And we're going to look at some captions. You're going to be surprised. And I did a video, a midweek recap, where they're actually in 10th place in some captions. So that's kind of, or in one caption. So that's interesting. But let's scroll down here. So this just goes through 21st, but you guys can see all the scores here. And once again, they're not, unless everybody competes on the same day. It's kind of a
Can you scroll back down real quick? Just scroll back down real quick.
Yep.
Is there anything there that jumps out at people in particular? Just before we roll on.
No.
I wonder, Spirit of Atlanta, they haven't competed since the 31st of July. Where do they fit into this mix?
Yeah, because it's pretty tight.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. We got, what, 80? It's 81s and 82s, right?
Yeah.
High is 83, 84 here.
I think Spirit of Atlanta comes back in somewhere around that 13th, 14th place spot. I really do.
I don't see them 13, 14. They could bump Crossman down. But look at the Crossman haven't performed since the 30th as well. So
exactly.
that can
this
go.
Is all ski whiff.
Yeah, everything's
It's once
a mess
again that
because of all the rain.
that 12th through 16th, man. It's like who's going to be where? Who's going to get that 12th spot?
Well, I think this is a 12-13 race between, and I don't think Pacific Crest is playing. And no offense to Pacific Crest. I think 14th, 15th is their thing. This is a race between the Blue Knights and the Madison Scouts.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
And while we're talking about the Madison Scouts, just maybe, Justin, you can edit in the video over the top here. I'd just like to give a bit of special recognition to the Madison Scouts in their recognition of the Cadets. Obviously, Allentown would have been their home show. And the Madison Scouts drum major came out with a Cadets Shako in their hand. They had a Cadets jacket hung up on the podium. And I couldn't help but notice that the Madison Scouts drum major, when they asked, is his corps ready, used the cadet salute. So, just special shout out and thanks to from this old drum corps fan. When the Cadets folded, I didn't realize how much I miss them, and I miss them a ton.
Yeah.
I've got no connection to that organization whatsoever, and it hurts that they're not here.
Yeah. Somebody posted where everybody went to, like how many Cadets members went to each
saw
corps.
that. The majority was Santa Clara Vanguard and Carolina Crown. I think Vanguard and Boston had, Vanguard and Boston had maybe 13 to 16 each, but Crown had 21.
I think it was a Crown. Yeah, one of them's got 21. I know that.
Yeah, that was Crown.
Okay.
That was Crown.
Well, let's look at some captions, and then we'll kind of look at a video that we have. So right now in brass, and once again, this is not, take it for what you want. This is where everybody's at currently. Boston, but they've been consistently in the top. I actually know Bluecoats was in the top at one point because it looks like they went down 0.2. Boston went up. So, but once again, it's just judging panel, right? Different judging panels, different scores. So it's really between Boston and Bluecoats. Carolina Crown is actually lower. At one point, didn't someone beat Carolina Crown? Wait, didn't I put a post?
No, it was Troopers. Troopers had beat Carolina Crown, but it was a mistake. So it got adjusted. It was an entry data mistake.
Yeah, but even then though, they're only 3/10 behind them here. So
and that's what's crazy. I mean, if you look at this from 19-3 down to 18-3, 1 point, it's first through ninth.
And the thing is I don't think this is a reflection on Carolina Crown becoming a less effective horn line as much as it is a reflection of everybody else has just become that much better.
Right.
I don't think Carolina Crown has let up anything in the brass caption. Just everybody else has said, hey, we better get on that train. So, who benefits from it? Those of us that are watching and listening.
Exactly. And it's not only in the brass caption, it's in other captions too, where everything's really, really tight. And I don't think we've ever had this tight of a top 12 before that I can remember. Where the captions were so close. Usually you have a huge division in the captions, right? You have the Blue Devils up here, and then you have the next group here, and then you have the next group here. And it's really kind of anybody's game. I mean, look at this. 18, 9.
I mean,
hey, look at Blue Stars Brass. There's got to be a shout out. I am displeased that they beat Phantom Regiment's Brass, but they have been making huge strides in the back half of their season. They have come that brass line has come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden,
go back and watch the other episodes. I've been saying how good that brass line is.
I know, right. And so everybody is finally taking notice that their horn line has really matured this season. Really matured.
I mean, look how
they're getting rewarded for it.
And this was what, 4 or 5 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And look how close they were to Blue Devils.
Blue Devils. I know.
Okay, so and then the lower half it jumps down to like 17-7, right? So Blue Knights actually are in 10th. Cavaliers, Madison, and then Colts. But Music City at one point was actually up in top 10 in brass.
Yeah.
That must have adjusted. Because you can see they would have had a 17-7.
They were last week before this weekend's shows.
Yeah.
But once again, look how tight it is right here. It's just...
There's just some very, very, very good brass lines this year. And when you look overall as well, if you look at the overall scores, I had a look, and it was last year after Allentown. Mind you, we had 2 days of Allentown. But last year after Allentown, the spread between 1st and 12th place was just shy of 13 points overall, right? To use that 13 points now, you got to go all the way down to 16th place. You know, that's crazy. Just how tight, not just captions wise, but just overall, how tight the top 12 is, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, yeah. And let's pull up a percussion, because this is also really tight. Boston's winning percussion. I think they're going to win it, unless something crazy happens.
Yeah.
Their percussion is off the hook good.
It's so
They're
good.
So good. They're so clean.
I mean, it's just, I mean, look at this. 1st, 2nd, Bluecoats, 3rd, Vanguard, Phantom, Blue Devils, Carolina Crown, Mandarins. At least Mandarin's percussion scores have gone up. Remember, at one point they were pretty low, and then that's good that they're getting them up there. And then like Troopers, of course. Look at Troopers. They're always doing so well in percussion, man. They just have a really good, solid understanding of that caption. So awesome. Look at Spirit of Atlanta.
Real quick. I think we're talking about Troopers. I think one of the things that helps with Troopers as well is if you watch Troopers, if you watch their shows, not just this year, but last year and the year before, when you really started to see that Troopers percussion section and realize, hey, that's a pretty good unit. I think a lot of that has to do with the visual writing as well, though. They're very rarely broken up as a battery. You know, anytime you look at Troopers, they're almost always either in a small they're talking about the battery, they're always close to each other, which allows them to play that much cleaner. So possibly affects the content scores a bit, but as far as the performance scores, their performance scores are off the chart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're really strong. When you listen to them, they fit into the ensemble really well, and I mean the overall ensemble. And there's no like when I'm watching a Trooper show, I'm not hearing the brass and then the percussion and then the pit. I'm hearing everybody together as a solid unit. So that whatever they're doing, they need to keep doing that, because that's really a good way to write. You know what I mean? All right, so let's scroll down here. So I was pointing out like the point gap. So he has 19.3. To even get 1 point down, it's only 6th place now. It used to be down into the 9th and 10th range. So this is actually starting to open up a little bit in percussion. So we have 19.3 at the top, all the way down to 17.4. So that at one point was like less than 1.5 points. So that's kind of widening. And then let's
talk about the elephant in the room in percussion.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. They were in 15th. Yep. They went down 1.1.
Someone in the DCP chat that we have made a comment that they were particularly rough at Allentown.
But I mean, that would put them in the top, like right here.
You know, well, if they, I don't know what happened in Allentown. I didn't get to see the show, but the comment was, if they don't make finals, we know why. But Blue Knights have not been, their percussion line is also, not scoring as high as their other captions or other sections. So it's kind of like who has the better night between those two cores.
Makes sense to me. But all right, let's move along to guard. This is where things also are pretty spread out. So we have 19.3 with Boston.
Yeah.
19.1. So it's going to be Blue Devils or Boston. Possibly Bluecoats. They're in the mix too. These three. Mm-hmm. But then when you go down,
and for the Zingali, it's all 3 nights combined. So again, it's all 3 nights combined. So we'll see what happens.
Rewards consistency.
Yeah.
And you can see here it's 1 point gap is only between first and fifth. So it's a lot tighter Caption, and then as soon as you go from 6 down, it's all the way down to the top 12.
Yeah, and you just start seeing maturity of guard.
Yeah. Which honestly, if you're scoring a 17, 18, that's good.
The break there is between Vanguard and Crown. And again, this is obviously Regiment's typically been up in that 5th and 6th spot, and we just don't have a newer score to put up there. So it'll be really interesting. Yeah, it'll be. And
so they were at an 18-3 before, and then they went down to a 17-7, which makes zero
so maybe
sense.
they just had a droppy show in Huntington. Who knows? It wasn't on Flow, so I don't know.
Exactly. And then there's a
huge across the board. I did hear that Huntington's scoring panels were pretty tight, like maybe a little stingy. So,
Justin, can you scroll back up, please? Mm-hmm. So, Jen, let me ask you. I know that you've been really, really complimentary and had a lot of great stuff to say about Crown and their guard. Mm-hmm. What does Crown need to do to close that gap to Boston? Because of those top 4, I would say my 2 favorite guards to watch are Blue Devils and Crown. Okay,
so Crown's guard is beautiful to watch, beautiful aesthetic, beautiful lyricism, amazing ability. But right now, what is lacking for their guard, which is going to be lacking for the entire core, as we've discussed, is general effect. And Boston's guard goes out there, and they are throwing so much energy at the crowd. Like, there's so much facial, there's so much finish of there's so much excitement in their work, and that's just typically because of the show itself, that I think they're definitely getting rewarded for that proficiency and for that level of achievement, whereas Crown is a much more subdued show. And so I think, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think they close that gap between, you've got content, you've got achievement. I just think it's a content thing at this point. And then when you have that excitement of choreography and interaction that Boston is doing, and then their achievement of that and how they're selling that book, I think that's the difference. So I don't think that Crown catches Boston, just from content alone.
So listen, before we go on to watch Cults, shall we all call our shot?
Yes, because I might not be able to watch Cults. I might have to.
Okay, then you go first.
React to Cults. Okay.
You go first, then.
So, total. I think this is Bluecoats here. This is my thing. I think it's going to go Bluecoats, Boston, Blue Devils. I would love, and then I think it's going to go Phantom and then Crown. I would love to see Phantom be the dark horse and jump over Blue Devils for a medal. I don't think that's going to happen, though. So I'm going to be the Debbie Downer on that one. I think that Phantom can jump Crown, but man, is that going to be a race to the finish, because Crown's not giving up. I think Percussion's going to go to Boston. I think the guard is going to go to Boston. So, and I think General Effect Caption will go to Bluecoats. So, down lower, I'm fingers and toes crossed. I want to see Madison on Saturday night. So I think Madison will finish it off and come in 12th on Saturday night. So, but no other surprises. Everything's kind of in there,
So if they're coming 12th, who's out? Who's 13th?
Blue Knights.
Blue Knights.
Justin?
I'm pretty much in agreement with Jay. I think Bluecoats are going to take it. Because right now they're 1.5 points ahead of Blue Devils. They're 1 point ahead of Boston because of their GE, like their show. Mm-hmm. But they are losing in captions, so that's where it's getting a little tricky, right? Because when you get to finals week, anything can happen, right? Things can change from day to day. You don't know. But I think it's possible Boston could maybe jump up and take it. I just don't think so. I don't think they have the... Even though Boston show is very GE heavy, I don't think they have the execution level that Bluecoats has. Having said that, though, so I still think it's going to be first, Bluecoats, second, Boston. It's going to be right where you see it here for top 3. And then I think Phantom is going to overtake Carolina Crown. And I think by more than this spread. I think they're going to probably be 93.5, somewhere in that range. Because they haven't maxed out their show yet. Right. They still haven't maxed out their show.
And they have some changes that went in that we didn't get to see last night. And I think Carolina Crown, in head-to-heads, we've beaten them in the last few head-to-heads, but we haven't. The Crown jumping ahead of us has been different panels. Yeah. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think this is going to stay here, Santa Clara and Mandarins. There's not going to be any change there. Unless Mandarins does a Hail Mary and does something dramatically different, I think it's going to be 6-7. Colts, I think, is going to stay in 8th. I think it's going to be pretty much like what you see here, 8, 9, 10. Troopers possibly could move up point-wise, but I don't know if they're going to overtake Cavies at this point.
No. I mean, I'm watching the Blue Stars Colts. That could go either way.
Yeah. But I think Madison's going to make finals this year. Okay. They're going to be the dark horse. The dark horse.
I know.
There's a dark horse, though.
Yeah, the Madison Scouts. Let's see what happens tonight.
Right?
Captions.
Captions. Bluecoats is gonna take. Let's see here. Let me look at what do we got here. So I'm clicking there like we can see. Percussion's gonna go to Boston. Guard's gonna go to Boston. And then percussion is gonna wait. I'm sorry. What's the other? Caption?
Music and GE.
Thank you. Brass. I still think Bluecoats is gonna take. I think Bluecoats are gonna take that.
I think Bluecoats will take music. Will take brass and GE. Yeah.
I think they're gonna overtake brass, but we'll see. You never know.
Okay. So my call is first place Bluecoats, second place very close Boston. I've said it from the beginning of the season, and I'm sticking to it. Third place I've got Phantom Regiment. Fourth place I've got Blue Devils. Fifth place I've got Carolina Crown. Sixth place Vanguard. Seventh place Mandarins with Colts very closely behind them in 8th. I've got Troopers in 9th place. I've got Blue Stars in 10th. I've got Cavaliers in 11th. And I'm going to be the Debbie Downer here and disagree with you guys. I think Madison's on the outside looking in. Don't like saying that, but I think Blue Knights are going to make top 12. And again, I think it's just purely going to be down to that percussion score. I think it's too much of an anchor. I hope I'm proven wrong, but that's the way I see it. As far as captions are concerned, I've got Blue Devils taking brass. I've got Bluecoats taking percussion. I've got Boston taking guard. And I've got Bluecoats running away with GE.
Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah.
There you have it, everybody. Tell us your thoughts.
That's my reliable Rondo prediction.
I know. So what to look for tomorrow? We have shows tonight and tomorrow. So let's see. And we don't have a Blue Knights Madison head-to-head. One's in Lake Erie and one's in Canton. No. One's in Lake Erie, Pennsylvania tomorrow. And then Madison is in... sorry about this, my delay here. They are in Downington, Pennsylvania tonight. So we'll have a couple... I don't know, right? I didn't even know there was a show on the schedule tonight. And then we have in Canton, or in somewhere in Ohio, Canton, Ohio, something like that. I don't know. We have Blue Devils, Crown, and that's Bluecoats' home show, right? So we have Blue Devils and Crown and Phantom Regiment going head to head, going into the finals. So final week. So I'm excited about that one.
Yeah.
So now I did say Phantom in third. I think that Phantom only takes third. I think Phantom only takes third on finals night, and I think it's barely nips him.
By the will of the crowd. By the will of the crowd. You know, we've seen it happen before. You never know.
Barely nips him. But I said from the beginning of the season, and I'm sticking to it, that's a medalist show.
Yes. So I don't have time to watch. I don't have. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
I don't have time to do the React video, so I just want to kind of say where I'm going to be at. So I am going to be in Indianapolis on Friday and Saturday. So my hope is to figure out how to do some YouTube shorts and give you some live from the oil can clips, whether it's from the marketplace and from the stands. I don't have seats since I'm volunteering with the fan shop, so I'll just be roaming around and see if I can find some people that I know and whatnot.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just maybe do some merch and see what's out there, and we can share it with everybody.
So and then
go ahead.
Oh no, that's
do a short from the Subi booth so I can take.
I will. I'll show you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and just to let everybody know, I'm gonna be doing a live stream. We got to figure this out for semifinals because we want to kind of do the scores as we go. And then I'm going to be doing another live stream, I believe. Don't quote me on that one. After finals during the retreat. So I'm actually going to do the finals score retreat live. You guys can join us. You can comment. You can join the party. We're going to be doing that.
If you send me the link during it, I'll be in the Phantom Regiment suite. So maybe I can join in and you can just jump in on Zoom. You can jump in on Zoom and I can share. Yeah, that'd be great.
I think what we had said is I'm going to do the first part of the day and then you're going to do the second part of the day because for those who don't know, there's an 8-hour time difference between me and Justin. So it works out that I can do the first part. If I try to do a live stream at 3:00 in the morning, my wife is not going to be very happy with me.
Yeah, and that's going to go until about 6 a.m. your time.
Yeah,
because I think the last core goes on at 9 or 10 or something like that.
Crazy.
Usually,
yeah,
it's really late.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna work it out. We'll figure it out. And then we'll be bringing scores throughout the week because they have open class starting tomorrow. Actually, is it tomorrow? Monday? It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
I think so.
Open class, yeah. So we'll be sure to bring scores and stuff like that as best we can. And
the other thing I'm going to try to make sure that I cover as well is the all age finals as well. Because we haven't talked much about all age, but the all age finals is on the day of DCI finals, I believe. So
it's on the same day, really?
Yeah,
I think I do it in the daytime. Yeah.
Oh, they're doing it inside the stadium, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, we can discuss that too. Maybe during the live stream or something.
If we can grab a couple of reaction videos, specifically see if we can record one for the Spartans. You can edit this out. This is off stream. See if we can grab a couple of reaction videos from All Age and Spartans.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that after finals too. Mm-hmm. You know, and just kind of watch them in retrospect. All right, we have one last thing before Jen leaves. And then we're going to get to the Colts. We're running really late on this one. But this is a combination of all the different Cadets people that were in previous years of Cadets. And now we're in different corps. You can see they're all in different uniforms. But they're going to be playing their Cadets corps song. Here we go. Yeah.
For holy
particularly
name shall
painful.
always be.
On a positive note, something I saw somewhere was that the youngest member of the cadets is at Phantom Regiment, is what I heard.
Really?
And
That's good.
if they, I can't remember if they march all of their years, they will be the last marching member of the cadets, something like that,
Wow.
And that's crazy to think. Like there will only be one left, and it'll be that kid.
Protect that kid at all costs.
I know, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's great that everybody's paying tribute, because the cadets were. It was more than an institution. It was an identity of drum corps. It was a part of drum corps' fabric. So
Yeah.
Not seeing the cadets is kind of hard, because it's like you're waiting for the cadets to come on. You're waiting for the cadets show. You're waiting for that thing that they brought. So
Hey, the first video I ever saw of drum corps was 1982 Cadets. I remember before I went to the first camp for freelancers in 87, my band director, the one I told you about that marched in Vanguard, she gave me a book. There was a book that was released back in the mid-80s called March Like a Cadet, right? And it was literally a hardcover book telling you about marching technique and warm-ups and stuff like that. I read that book cover to cover 10 times before I showed up scared shitless at my first freelancers camp. And I was scared shitless,
Yeah.
And while I'm on that, and we're talking about those that are gone but not forgotten, this is a little personal story of mine. Freelancers, my first freelancers camp, I showed up, I was 98 pounds soaking wet, scared out of my wits. I had no idea where to go. And I remember this guy coming over to me, and I don't think you met him, Jen, but Justin, you'll remember him. Jason McEnroth, center snare.
yeah, yes.
This guy come over, and he looked like a rock star. I mean, we're talking a Kiss t-shirt on, hair down to here. He looked like a rock star, and he ultimately would become a rock star. He went on to become the drummer for Mother Superior and drum for Henry Rollins. But I remember this guy coming out, and I saw this guy, I was like, oh my God, he's going to beat me up or something like that. And he's like, hey, my name's Jason. Who are you? And I said, I'm CJ. And he goes, what do you play? He says, you're phoning me. He brought me over to the horn line and introduced me to Roger DeLoza. Again, gone far too soon.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about those that are gone but not forgotten, I just want to recognize those two as well.
Cool. Right, Jenna, we know you got to go. It's hard
Yes,
stop
I gotta
for
go.
you.
I know, family time, so
No problem.
Enjoy.
I'll be in Indy, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about it.
Yeah.
We're
be sure to
we're not even a
report
little
some
bit
stuff.
jealous. We're
I
not
know,
even
right?
a tiny bit jealous. No.
Yeah.
Bugger off.
So here's a plea to everybody out there. Support this channel so we can go to DCI next year. 'Cause we
Yes,
wanna
I
go.
need my people with me.
Yes. Please help support the channel.
Yes.
Support us by subscribing, going to our merchandise, become a member. It's only 99 cents. You can become a member for 99 cents. It's really the best thing ever.
It's
Since
a lot
sliced bread.
further for these guys to travel than it is for me, so please support us.
Buy something.
Yeah,
Yes.
buy some merch. That would be great too. But thanks, Jen. We'll see you soon.
Yeah,
And then
we'll see you.
we're gonna get some live videos from you. We can post on the channel.
I know,
That'd be
for
great.
sure. All right, I gotta go. Talk to you later.
See you
Bye.
later.
Ciao. So should we
job.
start wrapping up then?
We should, because we've been going on almost 2 hours now.
Yeah.
know.
So as I said earlier in the video, I am in the middle of editing right now, and it's turning into a bit of an editing monster. A pretty comprehensive video around British brass band and its influence on the drum corps activity. So in a week where everything is going to be marching, I'm going to drop a video that has basically sod all to do with marching, but I hope you'll find it interesting. And
I'm gonna try
hoping to have that out Wednesday-ish.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make sure that I do a video every day of the scores and where we're at. Maybe even if it's just a quick video, just kind of show where the progress is with everybody. But thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to having Jen create some content. so that we can actually post it on the channel. So that'd be kind of cool because she's going to be there live at semis and finals. So I can't wait to see that.
I'm not, because I'm poor and it's like 6,000 miles away from me.
Well, yeah, there's always that. It's only a pond. Just jump across the pond.
But yeah, so what we are looking to do, though, tentatively, like I said, is live streaming. Obviously, we can't live stream the shows, but we can live stream reactions during semifinals, and I think finals. You were maybe going to do something at the end or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm good. My plan at the moment is to jump on for semifinals, and probably do the first part of the day. Maybe 21st down to 12th, and then Justin take over from 12th on to 1st. Obviously, they announce scores as we go, so that we'll have some stuff to talk about there. And then I'm also planning on, assuming it's on Flow, which I believe it is going to jump on for the do the same thing for the all age finals as well. And lest we forget as well, we've also got open class finals coming up this week as well.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So we'll make sure that we let you guys know exactly what's going to happen. In order to do that, you need to subscribe so you're aware of what's going on with our channel. So please make sure you subscribe, like this video, set your notifications so you get notified every time we have a video on our channel, which is going to be quite a bit of content this week. So I'm dedicating myself to getting a video out every day, even if it's just a quick record of scores, kind of a recap, kind of what's going on. Live stream semifinals, so Kanan and I will get together and figure that out. And then finals, I'm also going to be doing a live stream of the scores portion. I'm not going to be live streaming during it because everybody wants to watch. I want to watch. So what we'll do is I'll jump on right after, and then we'll do a live stream of the score results, kind of give our reactions to what occurred, and see what happens. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you on the next video.
While you're down liking and subscribing, stroke our egos, tell us how great we are, or if we're talking out of our backsides, tell us as well. But as I say every single episode, no matter what you're doing, no matter who you're doing it with, no matter where you're doing it, or no matter when you're doing it, just when you're doing it, make sure, there we go, march on.
March on. March on. See you guys in the next one.
Ciao.